Hey, this is Matthew. Today I'm talking about what is enough, and welcome to my office. This is where I have been dealing with this question a lot recently. And this question is particularly poignant to me because I am working through a university degree at the moment. And every time I need to hand in an assignment, I have to work out, is this enough? Is this good enough? And is it worth me putting in even more effort to get a better mark or a better result on this particular assessment? And this has raised this big question for me about what is enough. And I've come to an answer for me around my university studies that I think might be of use to you in whatever you're working on. So I invite you to join me on the journey. If you're new here, my name is Matthew, and my goal is to spark you to think differently so you can create new possibilities for yourself in your life. So whenever I have to do one of these assignments, I have to make a decision. I have full-time work, I run multiple businesses, I write a newsletter every week, I do YouTube videos occasionally, and there's lots going on. And I don't have the liberty to put my entire life online to focus on university. It's something I want to do well and I want to do properly, but I don't want to put my entire life into it. These particular units I'm doing, I don't have to get top marks, I just have to pass them, but I want to feel proud of my work. And I think that's pretty common in life. We want to feel proud of the work that we do. We want to feel like this is a reasonable effort, this is good, this is worthwhile. And so I've kind of come to a way of telling for me of when is enough enough. And basically the question I'm asking myself is, have I done a reasonable effort to do a good job and to get a good mark? If I've actually made a good effort to get a good mark, that's good enough. But it's not good enough to just make a half-assed attempt or a half-hearted attempt to get a good mark. I actually have to make a proper, reasonable attempt to get a good mark. And I've got to have that goal of getting a good mark as the bar that I'm aiming for, so that I'm not just letting myself get away with the bare minimum. Because there's a big difference between enough and the bare minimum. But the challenge is okay, I put in a reasonable effort. In order to get slightly better marks, it's probably a lot more work and a lot more effort than just to get to that reasonably good mark or a reasonably good effort. And that's where I have to cut myself short. I go, I have done enough work that I'm confident that this is going to be a good result, and then I leave it there. So how does this apply to you? How can you use this? Well, the key way is to consider what is the goal you're going for. Why are you doing what you're doing? And what standard would you be happy with having done, whether it's whatever it is? And when you work out what that standard is, you need to be realistic, because if you're a perfectionist, someone who wants it to be perfect, then you may as well not even attempt asking yourself, because if you're always going to go for perfect, you need to really let go of that before you will let yourself come to a reasonable standard or a good standard. And if your goal is good, reasonable, good enough, then that is probably a fine starting point. Try handing something in or try completing something and have it be good without it being fantastic. And maybe you won't be so proud of it, but you've got to at least have a sense of what the levels are, because if you're always going for perfect, then it's very hard to go anywhere from that. Keeping that in mind, I invite you to let go of being perfect, let go of having to spend forever working on everything, and work out what is good enough for you in your context in which you live. So that's all for me today, because I've got to keep working on this assignment, but until next time, the journey continues.